Good afternoon and welcome to All for United. This is the Pride of All Europe programme, whatever you want to call it. I just call it Pride of All Europe because we are the Pride of All Europe, and this is the Euros show. And just before we get started, I've got a little plug. It's from the Euro Mystery Shirt Box competition that we are running from the Mystery Shirt Club. To be in with a chance of winning, to right to the end of this show, and I'll be telling you exactly how you can win a chance of a mystery shirt from them lovely people at the Euro Mystery Shirt Box. So we'll get into that later on. But firstly, I've got a great panel with me as always. How are we, Stu?
I'm good, thanks, Benny. Benny, really good. Nice. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Lovely. Callum, how are you, fella?
Good, mate. Good. Can't complain any more than I usually do, to be fair.
Lovely jubbly. And Bainsy, I'm not so sure what your first name is, pal, but I'm going to call you Bainsy because I like that.
Yeah, it's my last name.
How are you, fella?
Yeah, good, mate. Can't complain. Sun's out, so can't complain too much, can we? Being in England, anyway.
Good afternoon to Reese. I think he's a bit keen. Tell you what, though, he's what was it called him earlier? Sorry, backstage, Stu. The dirty socks.
Sweaty socks.
Sweaty socks. Yes. Sorry, Reese. Unfortunately, the team didn't do so well yesterday.
I love
anyway, should we start off with that anyway? Just briefly go over the games yesterday. Start with for poor old Scotland's 2-0 defeat. Stu, you said backstage. You said backstage to me. That's not good news for England. Please explain the reason why.
Yeah, I was disappointed to see Scotland lose because they've got to get a result now Friday. Pretty much they've got to get a win really Friday because I can't see them getting anything out of Croatia, which means they exit the competition, and they're not going to want to do that. They just aren't. We've all known the rivalry between England and Scotland. I mean, I love those occasions. Absolutely love those occasions. I mean, everybody can still see Gazza's wonderful goal in Euro 96. But then again, on the flip side, it's been hampered with some damn right violence in the past, with Wembley destroyed by Scotland. So I know times are different. But to be honest, I expected more. If I'm being truthful with you, I expected better from Scotland yesterday. I don't know enough about the side to know whether or not their manager chose the correct 11. I've heard differing views from Scottish people and Scottish pundits saying that Che Adams should have started and a couple of other players. I know they lost Tierney, which they were, they were saying that's a big miss for them. But all in all, I wasn't overly impressed with Czechs, with the Czech Republic, but they got the win, didn't they? They did, you can only do a job in the Euros. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how you play, as we proved on Sunday. It doesn't matter how you play, as long as you stick the ball in the onion bag, and you win. And I think for Scotland, I think Clark will put a revised side out against us on Friday. I think it'd be a really, really tough match. It was going to be a tough ask anyway. It's going to be a tougher ask on Friday. So, sorry, Reece. The old sweaty socks let us down, mate. Come on. Get your old tartan army. Get them revved up. Not for us, but for Croatia.
Well, I think the title of this video is it's been Schick'ening for Scotland. Not mine doing, by the way. That I think that's Ben's awful title, by the way. But sorry, Reece, for that one. Bainsy, I'm going to come to you, pal, on Scotland.
Go on.
Did they make a mistake? Did the manager make a mistake by not picking Che Adams to start, do you think? I thought Che Adams would have been nailed on to start.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. To be honest, though, did they really play that bad? When you're watching the game, they weren't bad, were they? I mean, all right, look, it was a defensive error on their first goal and then a piece of magic on their second goal. So you can look at it and go, they didn't play too bad. I think they hit the post once and then they hit the bar. They were always, the fullbacks were always overloading. They were getting crosses into the box. Obviously, we know what Andy Robertson's always going to do. He's done it for Liverpool for many years. So we just knew what he was going to do. They did bring on Che Adams and they did look a bit better, but I think the game was lost by them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And to be fair, to continue what Stu was saying, they're just going to kitchen sink it on Friday, aren't they? It's going to be, they're going to throw everything at it. They're going to throw everything at England. I think we've got a really tough game on Friday, because to them it's going to be a final, and to us it's going to be, right, we've got the expectation to go out and go and win and top the group. To them it's going to be, right, this is our last chance, boys, to get 3 points and potentially get through as the third place team. And I think they're going to see that England game as one of the games. I don't think they'll go out and beat Croatia. I really don't. But whether the manager got it wrong, yes, the other day when they played, I don't think so. I think they played all right, actually, to be fair. Their 2 goals just came out of freak anomalies, which you can't really defend. So, no, I don't think he got it too wrong. I think he'll change it up, though, for England, definitely. I think Shea Adams is there. He'll rustle a few feathers, especially with Mings and Stones at the back. I don't think Maguire's going to play on Friday. I know he's been training, but I don't think he's going to play. So let's see how it goes. It's all for Scotland to lose at the end of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely. Callum, coming to you, pal. How worried should England really be about a Scotland backlash? Or do you think England have got plenty there to just swiftly see them to the side, to swap them to the side?
I think England should play the game and not the occasion. I watched Scotland yesterday and I was shocked at actually how bad I thought it was. The decision making was so poor. You can't do things like that at a major championship, which is sort of why they've probably not made one for so long. A centre-back running forward and taking a shot from 40 yards out for then Schick to go and do that wonder goal. That opportunity should have never presented itself. And the first goal that they scored, they should have just cleared the lines. It was, I just didn't see. I mean, Scotland probably could have, if they put the chances away better, they probably could have got something from that game. But you could just see a clear lack of quality from them. I thought McTominay was very poor for Scotland yesterday. He really was poor. I expected a lot better of him. They probably did miss Tierney, because I think is it Robertson that they usually play on the left wing, or Tierney? I can't remember now.
They play Robertson on the left wing.
Robertson.
So I think they probably missed. They probably missed that threat going forward.
Is he injured, Tierney? Is that why he weren't playing?
Yeah,
he's injured.
He picked up a slight knock. He should be fit for the England game, apparently.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't see anything too frightening from Scotland. I actually thought, considering they have been gone for so long, I thought they would have performed a little bit better. I was a little bit disappointed with them, to be honest. So I don't see anything to frighten us on Friday. But obviously it is a derby. It's a big game. Scotland playing at Wembley. They'll be well up for it. So I think England just needs to remember that they've got great quality all over the pitch. Play the game, and just show Scotland that we're better than them. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't beat Scotland on Friday night. Scotland aren't as good as a team as us. We're probably up there with some of the best teams in the competition.
Yeah,
let's go and show them why. Let's go and show them why, because there's no reason that I can see that Scotland should nick anything from us. I think it is just the occasion that might get us a little bit. But if we just keep to our strengths, know what we can do, and I think we'll be okay.
Absolutely, pal. Absolutely. Moving on to the second game of the day was Poland-Slovakia, and Mr. Wojciech Szczesny made a bit of history in the European Championships, didn't he?
I saw this stat.
First goalkeeper in European Championship history to score an own goal.
Oh, okay.
I thought Stu might have known this. He's the man of the stats. Man of the
No, I didn't know that. And to be honest, it was one of those games I paid very little attention to. It
was a great game, to be fair.
No, I've heard it's probably been one
game.
of the best games of the tournament so far. The quality, more than anything, not the speed of play. It was all about the quality. Apparently, the football quality was at a different level from what I've heard from my mates.
It was coached very well from both sides.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So it's a bit of a non-event for me, really. A little bit like Austria and North Macedonia. Although I've drawn fucking Austria in the sweep with the lads, so I've got to fucking watch them now, haven't I? And Spain. of all
They
teams.
drew 0-0 as well, didn't they, last night?
But to be fair, Cal, we put Spain exactly where we thought they would be, didn't we? Non-exist, just nondescript.
Exactly, that's what I mean. We were right. It's almost like we know what we're talking about sometimes.
Oh no, I don't. We shouldn't be on this channel. I'm joking. Yeah, it was a bit I can't really say much to that, Benny. I'll let the others then speak because I didn't really see it. It wasn't a game that jumped out on me and I was excited about, really. But I have heard, Bainesy, you're absolutely right. It was a high-quality game of football.
I like Reese's comments. Once an Arsenal player, always an Arsenal player. Oh, Schick'ening. Lovely. Yeah. On that, Bainesy, did you watch the match?
Yeah, I was in and out, to be fair. I was sort of working, but I had it on in the background. I just remember all the pre-sort of analysis pre-game was all about Lewandowski and what he did in the Bundesliga and how he broke the record for the most goals in a season. But he was so quiet. It just goes to show, obviously, like the quality he has at Bayern Munich. And obviously, the quality is a bit at Poland, of course, it's going to be it's not going to be your Bayern Munich, is it? But yeah, he was quiet. He did try his best. He was trying to get involved in the game as much as he could. But I think with him, the big thing is he's the traditional centre forward, isn't he? He's the traditional number 9. He will stick on that back line. He will give the centre back something to worry about. Whereas we're seeing now a new era of these number 9s where they're coming in and they're coming in deep and they're receiving the ball and they want to be part of the play. Where with him is slightly different. And I think in that Poland team, yeah, he got played out a little bit. I mean, the goals were great. Skriniar scored a brilliant goal. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights. It was a fantastic goal. And instantly I looked on Twitter and then we had people like United fans like linking Skriniar to United as always.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was a good game. Like you said, it wasn't like the most fantastic, fast-paced game that you would expect at Euros, like a traditional game. But it was just two sides, really well drilled, knew what they had to do, and it was quite tight. And it did work out to be a really good game in the end, actually, to be fair. One of those games where you think, no, that's going to be a dead rubber game, but it ended up being really good.
Speaking of a dead rubber game, Callum, what the hell went on last night between
Doesn't even
Spain
make
and Sweden?
sense.
Does it? All that Spanish possession for what?
Do you know what? I did watch the game yesterday, and it was one of them games. When you see the Euros is starting, you're like, I could not give a shit about either of these teams any other day of the year. But when the Euros are on, I love them. I love them both because it's a football game to watch. I thought it was quite evenly. I thought Slovakia edged it in the first half, but overall, throughout the entire game, I thought it was fairly evenly matched and probably could have gone either way. The reason why Slovakia won it was because just after Poland equalised, they seemed to be going for it, and I thought Poland will win this game, and then 10 minutes later, fucking Slovakia scored. So you can thank me for that. But yeah, Schick'ening, I don't understand how he played for Juventus because I never remember him being good for Arsenal, to be honest. It was good quality. It was just an entertaining game. It was quite end to end. I think the sending off of Poland probably did it for them. I think that was probably a bit of a nail in the coffin because the momentum seemed to swing after that. And Slovakia's second goal, it was really, really well placed, and the technical ability for that was brilliant. And it was a centre back that scored it. It was a really,
centre back. Yeah, I was just about to say he's a centre back, and it was like a typical number 9 finish.
Yeah. It was a really good finish, especially for a centre back. Anyway, so it was an enjoyable game, to be honest. But it definitely could have gone either way, I thought. But I thought Poland's goal was quite good. There was a little point that I wanted to make though on that game yesterday. Benny, I think me and you have sort of had a little bit of a conversation about Jermaine Genius and how fucking useless the guy is. It was, I think, the co-commentator yesterday was Emma Hayes.
I can speak good things about her,
Yeah.
If I'm right in thinking, is she the Chelsea women's manager?
She is, mate. Yeah.
I thought she was brilliant. Some of the stuff she was saying on commentary, I was like when you just hear, like Sir Martin Keown and Jermaine Genius going, all these
crap, don't you?
cliches, crap.
Yeah, it's crap.
Passion and fighting for the shirt. It's just needless crap that doesn't actually mean anything in football.
Yeah.
Emma Hayes was sat there commentating, like actually trying to describe how to break down a low block and what
it was a proper analysis. but live analysis.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. Yeah,
it was
really
actual
good.
analysis
really
of a
good.
football match on how the team could improve to score a goal. Instead of just Jermaine Gina spouting shit that isn't even true. Like the other day, I tweeted, he said in the Italy game, "Oh, we're not going to see Italy whip balls in and get a big header on the end of it to score a goal." And within the next 5 minutes, they did it 4 times and nearly scored. It's just complete lack of knowledge, lack of research, and we've got to listen to this fucking tool for the next month.
He's at BT as well, isn't he? So
talking of which, what I've noticed, there's been a couple of decent headed goals at this tournament.
I know
it's like the header's coming back in fashion at long last. I love a good header. I grew up in the Andy Gray era, Bainesy. You probably won't know that, but I grew up in the Andy Gray era.
He was great at that set piece. He was so dangerous.
Stick your boot in. I don't give a damn. Bang, have that. You know.
Well, that's why I've got that scar there from being kicked in the head playing football.
Oh, nice. I've got one just over here as well through being kicked in the.
I don't know if you can see it, to be fair. Just there.
To be fair, you don't see that now in this modern game. You just don't see it anymore, do you? It's all about playing ball at feet and Cavani.
Cavani's actually reignited the header in the Premiership, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Really, but some of the crosses and some of the powerful headers. That the strikers and that scored. I mean, the goal, the first goal that Scotland conceded, I thought Marshall should have got it. I know he headed it down and it kind of went over him, didn't it? But it's a wonderful header.
Great header.
Yeah,
great header.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Sorry to put in that, Cal.
It's fine. It's like I'm really sick of listening to pundits and I think the thing that bothers me the most is because they're the type of people that say fans don't have a good opinion because they never played the game or whatever. Yeah. And then when you listen to people like that, and it's like, I don't mind getting things wrong every now and then because, you're not going to always be right. And especially when you're calling your own team, you always want to be wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if you say, oh, my God, he's rubbish, then you hope you prove wrong and he ends up being good because it's your own team. But when they're genuinely just saying stuff that doesn't even make sense, and it's like the headed thing, you can just tell he said that trying to sound clever and know what he's talking about, when really he just doesn't have a clue because he doesn't watch Italy, which is fine. I think that is what it's about. Don't try and fake your knowledge just because you're a pundit. It's so everyone can see through it, and that's the problem. Yeah. It's just so frustrating to listen to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right, Cal.
You wonder why people like Emma Hayes is getting hunted for like top men's jobs, in managerial roles and coaching roles in the men's game. People are so quick to write her off because she's a woman, but look at her knowledge, just basically on co-commentary alone, she's really, really highly thought of, Emma Hayes, especially at Chelsea.
Do you know what? I keep seeing it on Twitter. There's a few like Nicole. She's great. She knows what she's talking about. And you've got Carl's Mrs. Emma, just to name a couple. Like, they know what they're talking about, and yet they're constantly ridiculed and laughed at, and it's ridiculous. Like, just literally because they're a woman. I don't understand why it's so hard for some men to grasp that women can like football too. I really don't understand what's so bad about that. Like, you can make your stupid little comments at people, but it's genuinely really stupid. It's like the taking the knee thing almost. People disagree with it for reasons that don't actually exist.
It's like it personally offends them because they're a woman. It's like, grow up, man. Like,
it's ridiculous. It really is stupid. Like, if anything, it makes it's quite nice to speak to a woman about football because they do sometimes have different opinions and stuff, and they see it from a different perspective. It's good to hear, and the thing, like, you see it on Twitter most of the time. Like I saw one before. I just can't listen to a woman commentating. It's the men's game. They should stick to the women's game. And it's like, did you hear some of the stuff Emma Hayes was saying? I found myself listening to her thinking, "Oh, that was fascinating." Like, I just don't understand this small-mindedness that we still seem to see across so much of social media.
Well, it's easy though, isn't it? It's easy to criticise behind the keyboard, Most the irony of it, which makes me laugh more than anything, is if you ask most men about their perfect girl, they always say somebody who loves football, I can talk to her about football, etc., etc., etc. And you got the same morons having a stab at women in the game.
Saying the opposite,
it is. You know.
I've always heard that stereotype. It's like, what, name your perfect woman,
Yeah.
and then they actually end up describing a bloke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly right.
they end up like describing what their typical best mate down the pub.
Yeah,
sounds
down the
like.
pub would sound like.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They want their missus to be their best mate, who they can go for a pint with, and who they can speak about football all day with. And it's like
Alex Scott. That was the other. I was trying to think.
Alex Scott, she's good.
Yeah,
My
Alex
missus-
Scott's great as well.
My missus don't give a damn about football. She don't care about it, but she
no,
let
that's
you know,
fine.
I do. So she lets me get on with it. She's
Yeah.
got no issues. Just get on
Yeah.
with it. And because I've done it all my life.
It's quite nice to hear though at the minute, because like my missus can't stand football, but she's let me watch all the games. She's been quite interested in like invested in it. To be fair,
Yeah.
like
It's exactly the
especially
same with me
when
as
the
well.
Ericsson thing happened at the weekend.
Yeah,
She was like, "Oh
yeah.
my god, like what the fuck?" You know what I mean? So it's quite nice to see that she's so invested, because let's face it, they like a few women that I know can't stand football and don't want to see football on every day. 3 games a day now for what, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. You don't want to really see that if they don't like football, just like men won't want to. But it's quite nice to see them getting quite invested, because they did it at the World Cup as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to move it on now.
That's
Anyway.
a tangent.
Yeah, I'm going to move it on a tangent, boys. Anyway, we got just before we went on air. Well, a little bit before we went on air, we've got breaking news from the England camp that Dean Henderson's had to withdraw with a hip injury. I'll start with you, Bainesy. How concerned should we be as Manchester United fans about a hip injury going into next season? Do you think it's a major injury to worry about, or should a couple of weeks rest be all right?
Right, about the injury, I think a couple of weeks he should be fine. Obviously, has he completely come out the squad, so he's going home now, is he?
Yeah, Aaron Ramsdale's come in to replace him.
Right, okay. So then in that case, yeah, I mean, he will have 3-4 weeks to rest. He'll probably do some light training or whatever just to keep his muscles going and stuff. But in terms of a worry, I think it's a big worry, because you've had Shaw, who didn't play, and he's had his wrist strapped up. We all know about Rashford and his injuries. You had Maguire out for almost a month. He's back now into full training. Donny van der Beek has pulled out. He was injured. There was a couple of others as well. I think Scott Lindelof with his back. He was all right yesterday, but again, we all know that he's nursing a back injury. I think it's concerning for next season. It really is, because I'm not sure of the timing of the break between the Euros and then pre-season. I think it's like 2 or maybe 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks? So
Yeah,
again, it's going to be exactly the same as last summer, where we have a 2 week, maybe not even a 2 week break, and then you're back into a full season again. So I don't think it's, to be honest, for Dean Henderson, it's perfect. I think he comes out. I think Gareth Southgate likes his favourites, and he's going to pick Pickford. Let's be honest. So it's good for him to get out of that. Let's rest him up and get him in for next season. I know David De Gea didn't play yesterday. I'm not sure if that's injury related or anything, but yeah, it's concerning for next season, considering the whole squad is like riddled with injuries at the moment, and they're playing in a major tournament, so it doesn't help us. I don't know what's going to happen with Rashford and Maguire. I think their personalities, we all know their personalities and how they come out in interviews and how they'll break their back for the team. As much as a fan, that's great to listen to, but sometimes you've got to put your smart hat on and think, hang on a minute, you're going to kill yourself if you don't look after yourself. But yeah, for next season, it is worrying. I'm glad he has pulled out and he's had that sort of think about it and to pull out. But I don't know. I'm quite concerned about that 2 week break, to be honest. It's not enough, especially after the season that they've had, and England are tipped to get to the latter stages of the tournament. So who knows what's going to happen, to be honest. Hopefully they'll be all right, though. Hopefully.
Yeah, you are right, though. There's a few of our players carrying nuts going into this tournament. And another one that's come in as a replacement is Diego Dalot, coming for Portugal.
He was playing in the under-21s, wasn't he?
Yeah. Where are we seeing Diego Dalot's future in the long term, Stu? Do you think he's going to come back to United this summer, or we maybe going to try to do a deal with AC Milan?
No, I think he'll stay at Milan. Whether he stays on loan or whether we do a deal, but I think he'll stay at Milan. I think he's quite happy there. Plays left back, if you remember, AC Milan rather than right back, and he's showing a little bit more potential. His issue was he didn't develop at Manchester United as well as we all thought he would do. He's very, very quick, but he just got into the final third and he just completely had a freak show. He just didn't know what to do with it. We do all these step overs. There was no delivery. There was no real defensive qualities to him. There was no great penetration in terms of, as I said, he'd get into the final third and he wouldn't deliver. So, do we need him? No. I would say that. One thing I'd say about Henderson though is we need to just add a note of caution. A hip injury for a goalkeeper is an absolute pain in the ass. It is just not the right injury to have. And we've seen goalkeepers, by the way, not come back with broken little fingers for weeks. Ben Foster was out for months.
Yeah, he was.
His hand injury, and it was a little broken finger. So a hip injury, providing he's not got a hairline fracture in it, which if he does, I think it could be a bit longer, Bainesy, if it's a hairline fracture. If it's bruising around the hip, then that's what we want to hope for. Then that will dissipate. But I think what the physios will be concerned about, especially at his age, is what damage was done to it. If there's going to be any long-term effects, and whether he might need an op. But a hip injury for keeper is an absolute nightmare.
Do you think he's pulled out because he needs an op?
Possibly.
It'd be interesting to see now.
Yeah, possibly. And I'm wondering. Yeah, and I'm wondering, and I'm wondering, has he been carrying this little niggle, this little hip niggle for a while as well? Because his performances towards the latter end of the season, when he was removed out of the first team, weren't good. He wasn't as agile as he has been, wasn't as commanding as he has been. So we seem to potentially have a bit of an issue with the goalkeeping department again, which we all thought we'd found that solution, because I was backing Henderson for to be number one. So yeah, interesting. It'd be interesting to see what happens and what kind of statement Manchester United come out and say over the next week or two. But you're not going to pull out, for me, your first major championships as a England senior player. You won't be pulling out unless you can't physically.
Unless you're serious.
Yeah. And that's a worry for me.
Absolutely.
Hang on.
This one for you, Cal. Do you think Rashford should have done what Greenwood did, pull out, get fit, or do you think it's too much pride, which could determine an outcome, which have a detriment to outcome this season?
I think Rashford's got too much pride. You've seen he was basically on his deathbed when he was at United this season and refused to not play. So I don't think he's going to do that for England either. As a United fan, you think none of the United players should have gone. By the looks of it, if Henderson's now injured, that's Henderson, Greenwood. Shaw's now injured as well with his wrist. Rashford and whoever I forgot to say just then. Maguire, was it? Can't remember now.
Maguire.
You know what I mean? They've all got knocks and injuries. As a United fan, they shouldn't have gone. As an England fan, you're glad they did, because they're obviously quality players that need to be there to help us progress in the tournament. Well, first and foremost, I'm a Man United fan. To be completely honest, England are always just something to watch in the summer when it's the Euros or the World Cup. I think every United fan sort of lost their relationship with England when it was 1998, and David Beckham was absolutely vilified for everything. Fucking effigies in the street and dartboards on newspapers with Beckham in the middle of it. So I don't, obviously I support England, but I think it's one of them, like, if they were to go out, as a United fan, I don't think you're as devastated as maybe some other fans, especially down in London. They seem to be the core England support. I'm just hoping he's fit for the new season. The same with Henderson. But it's like you said, Bainesy, like, if we do get to the last stages, what are they going to get? 2 weeks holiday?
Yeah.
Bear in mind, they'll get a bit of the summer off next season. Well, I don't know actually. So what?
That's the World Cup, isn't it, next season?
No,
they don't.
Yeah,
so
we play through.
Are they going pretty much straight into the new season next year?
I think we play through, don't we, lads? Am I right in saying that? Because the World Cup's in December, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's out in Qatar. So
My genuine worry is now, and I've always had sort of a bit of a blasé attitude to footballers, because they're all multimillionaires and they should be able to play 2 games a week. But I mean, they're now adding more games to the Champions League. The World Cup's coming straight on. Like, how many games can these guys play? Seriously, like, I'm always of the attitude that these are professional athletes who should be able to play at least 2 games a week. I get that. But how many more can they play than 2 games a week? You know what I mean? Like, they are human at the end of the day. And I understand that they're top of the physical fitness and stuff. But I don't understand where they're going to, even regardless of, the fitness and stuff, where are they going to fit the games in? I genuinely can't see that a gap in the schedule. The only way I could see it is if you scrap the League Cup, because not many other countries have a second cup competition. You get rid of FA Cup replays for every single one, and you die down the amount of international friendlies you see. So instead of 2 or 3 games for England, you see 1 or 2, in October, November, and March. So just don't understand why they can physically fit the schedule in. And you're seeing it with more and more muscular injuries. And I think obviously with the COVID pandemic last year, they didn't have a break last year or no pre-season, and were thrown into, Premier League football or La Liga football or internationals or stuff. And they've not had that proper setup. And I sort of feel it's hitting a point now where footballers are like, what else do you want us to do? Because we can't physically fit anymore in the schedule. And I kind of feel a little bad for them. I mean, I don't feel bad for the bank accounts, but
No, but you're right though, Carl. You can't spend it if you're crippled, or you can't spend it, or whatever. Look what happened to Ericsson. Now, nobody knows the stress that has been on Ericsson's heart. But this is the problem with football. He's training every day. You're playing games 2-3 times. Look at Manchester United at the end of the season. We had 4 games.
Yeah,
4
in a week.
In the space of in a week. It's just ridiculous. And with the World Cup coming in December, I can't see where there will be a break. We'll get a winter break in January and February, don't we? Each team gets a week off in January and February. But no, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the first round of games that I've seen, I think probably 75% of the teams look absolutely shattered and dead on their feet already. And that's without what happens. I mean, the Euros goes to the later weeks in July, doesn't it? We start. Yep. Is it August the 14th? The Premier League.
August. Yeah, mid-August. Yeah, third week of August, I think.
Yeah, so there's going to be no time whatsoever to get your holiday in, your pre-season. Some of our players might not be back till September.
We're forgetting something as well, though, Stu. We've got the Olympics as well.
Oh, God,
so a couple of players might be going to that as well. Brazil.
Yeah, you're right.
Always in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Brazil play the football, don't they? I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's a couple of players that might be going to that as well. So
you've got the Copa America currently. Mm-hmm. Isn't the African Nations Cup this year?
That's in January. Is that January or February?
I can't comment, to be fair.
I don't know about it, but I know we've got the African Nations Cup coming up.
Well, it might not happen because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Because if it's, I'm not sure when to be honest, I know it's in the winter, but I'm not sure when really it is.
But all of those, as Carl says, you guys have rightly pointed out, all of those tournaments. I mean, Fred, by the way, was magnificent. I just thought I'd mention this.
Yeah, he was. For Brazil, yeah.
He was man of the match by an absolute country mile.
Was it someone came out? Was it Neymar that came out and said we only won because of Fred?
Because of Fred. He played as an 8.
He
played as an 8, not as a 6. He played as an 8, as a box-to-box. Said he was absolutely amazing. The AFCON recesses in January, so there you go, lads. I mean, you've got players in the Premier League that are going to be playing, right the way through to the AFCON. Oh, I don't know. It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Speaking of loads of players that have been playing loads of matches, I think Bruno Fernandes starts tonight. He's on his 80th match or something.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Looking ahead to that. Actually, we will look ahead to that Portugal game now before Ben screams at me for not previewing any of these today's matches. Portugal then, boys. Stuart,
Yes.
What
Do you know what?
Portugal, my friend?
This is the group I'm looking forward to the most.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think so. This is a tasty group, this one.
This one's really
I
good.
really can't wait for this group. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I mean, some of these dark horses, Germany, isn't it, Benny?
It is, mate. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing a German shirt on, by the way.
I know. Yeah, he put a bet on Scotland.
Yeah, that's going to be pumped already, isn't it? Like 200 to 1 bet.
Do you know what a group? I'm looking forward to seeing Portugal tonight. Obviously, we'll be supporting Bruno, and you've got to tip your cap to Dallo. You know, he's still a Manchester United footballer, so you've got to tip your cap there. Looking forward to seeing Polinia play, if that's how you pronounce his name. Concalves, if he gets on. Yeah, overall, I think the Portuguese side is second for me for the French side. Do you know what I think about the French first 11? I think is absolutely frightening. It's devastating, the French first 11, really.
Yeah.
It really is. But I fully expect Portugal to beat Hungary convincingly tonight. And I expect France to get over the line against Germany a bit later. But I think it'll be a tight 1-0 because whatever you think about this current German side, they will turn up. They always turn up in the tournament. I'd be interested to see how fit Ronaldo is and how he approaches this particular tournament, because I think it'll be his last tournament. So, sorry, he'll do the World Cup. He'll do the World Cup and then I think that'll be it for, because he's 36 now, don't forget. So, although we want to play until he's 40, I know, but I'll be interested to see how Ronaldo does. But yeah, I think Portugal, very, very flowing team. And I think if Bruno, they can get the ball to Bruno, if Polinia can protect Bruno, they can get the ball to him and he can feed Ronaldo. I think a comfortable win tonight.
Absolutely. Bainesy, do you reckon Dalot will start tonight, my friend, or do you reckon he's just going to be brought in and maybe it's a bench player or a bench warmer?
It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Honestly, I know United have been screaming for a backup right back, and I think Dalot can be that player. He's still got a lot to work on, like Stu mentioned earlier in the show. I don't think he starts, to be honest. I mean, for Milan, he was okay though, wasn't he? He did have an okay season. I'm not going to say it's great. Yeah. He was okay for Milan, and obviously he was with the under-21s, and then he's got moved up, so that's positive. Look, it'll be interesting to see if he does start, and if he does start, a lot of United eyes will be on him, because there will be a point. Because I think Milan want to do another loan with an option to buy now. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in this tournament. And if he does play well, then we've got our right back already sorted. And I thought we would have gone for someone like Max Aarons. I'm not sure if there's other right backs out there that we could go on a sort of a backup option. Kieran Trippier was one, wasn't it? Sorry. So it'd be good to see actually how Dalot gets on. I think it's positive anyway, because look, the worst case scenario, he doesn't have a great tournament. He goes off to AC Milan, has a really good developing season again, and we can call him back. So it's kind of a win-win for United at the moment.
Absolutely. Stu, what do we know about Hungary, mate? Who's the players to look out for Hungary? Or have I put you right on the spot?
I've put me right on the spot, really, because the problem for English fans and the Premier League fans is, although we look to the Italian league occasionally, we look to the German league, we don't really look outside our league, if we're being honest. You know, there's a couple of games that will whet the appetite, the El Clasico, etc. You know, German, in the German Bundesliga, you got Dortmund and Munich. So I don't know a lot about the Hungarians. And I think, to be honest, and I will put that out there, a true football fan doesn't have to know everything about the game.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you don't have to know about teams that really don't whet your appetite. It's a little bit like about Slovakia, don't whet my appetite. But sometimes you can watch a game of football and you think, wow, he looks quite decent for Hungary, or he looks decent for Slovakia, etc. So for me, I don't know a great. I'm looking at their squad now, and I don't recognise anyone really. They play, you know, there's a couple of Leipzig players in there, Fenerbahce. There's a Bristol City player. Let's have a look. MTK Budapest. You know, they're not really what you would class as players that are playing for household clubs. Whipping boys. There you go.
Whipping boys, yeah.
Benny, I know about Hungary. Whipping boys.
Whipping boys, right.
And they'll get a bit of a lesson, a bit of a spanking tonight by the Portuguese master, that is Bruno. One other player I am really, really looking forward to seeing, and that's Andre Silva up top for Portugal tonight, if he plays. Because I think he outscored Haaland, didn't he?
He did.
Bundesliga. And everyone's giving it the big one about Haaland. Everyone's giving it the big one about Haaland, but nobody mentioned Silva. So I'll be quite interested to see if he can stick the ball in the back of the net. So there you go.
We'll come to you, Callum. Ronaldo or Bruno? Who's going to have the bigger impact tonight, mate?
You just can't overlook Ronaldo. I'm sorry. Stu said before about his last tournament. Obviously, next year's a World Cup. So, I genuinely think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ronaldo in 2026. Like, I genuinely think the guy could play till he's 45.
He's a machine, ain't he?
He's robotic. He's just ridiculous. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him for a good while. But yeah, I think Ronaldo's still the catalyst for Portugal. He's still so important to them. Ronaldo will not retire from international football until he's scored 110 goals for Portugal, because he'll beat that Ali Daya of Iran, is it? So we'll see Ronaldo at international level for a good while, yeah, I think.
How many goals is he behind? How many goals is he behind then? He's hit 100, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's. I think he's at 100. 104 he's at, so he needs another 6.
Okay, fair enough.
So
yeah,
he could do that.
He could do it in this tournament, to be honest.
He could do that in this tournament, but he'll definitely do it he'll do it in the World Cup at least next year. So I'd be curious to know who's going to take the penalties. So because obviously Bruno's the huge guy that takes them for United, but you can't take penalties off Ronaldo, can you? Because he's so important. I think they'll still look for Ronaldo to inspire them. The thing is with Portugal, it's always been Ronaldo and then players around him. Whereas now he's sort of got that backup. You know what I mean? He's João Felix, Bruno Fernandes, Carvalho, Paulinho, Rui Patricio in net, a good keeper. So to name a few. I think that the only problem. So I'm looking at the defence here. That's the only part that worries me. Pepe and Jose Fonte. I mean, you've got Ruben Diaz, but they're 38 and 37. So
yeah.
But look at the players you've got: Ruben Neves, Bernardo Silva, Bruno, Andre Silva up front, Diogo Jota. Like, the squad all of a sudden from 5 years ago looks so different and so good. To the point you always say, "Oh, Portugal will do okay because of Ronaldo." Now you're saying Portugal could win this again because of the squad, not just because of Ronaldo. It seems like they've found a bit of a golden generation, Portugal, just at the right time. Because if I'm honest, I think Ronaldo's probably got 5 years max. Some of these players could be going for another 10, 15 years in the Portugal side. So it's quite good to see.
The interesting thing about that, though, Cal, is Belgium had a very similar thing, didn't they, 4 years ago?
But Stu, Roberto Martinez.
Wrong manager. Yeah.
He's without being mean, he's shit.
Yeah, wrong manager. Absolutely wrong manager.
He's not a good manager. Like, he's really not a good manager. And when you've got the likes of, Eden Hazard and Lukaku and De Bruyne and all these players, like, and then the Belgian FA thought, I know, we'll give them to Roberto Martinez. Surely there was somebody better out there to get the best out of those players.
They had some wonderful players, didn't they? Witzel at the time, real at the top of their game, at the top of their tree.
Belgium have always had a bit of a similar issue to England, though. We've always had brilliant players. We've just never had a brilliant team. You know what I mean? And they struggle to play together. So,
anyway, what do you know about Hungary, Cal? Let me put Cal on the spot. What do you know about Hungary?
What do you know about Hungary, Cal?
Honestly,
not your stomach rumbling.
I've just looked at the squad, so I know fuck all about Hungary.
So did I.
I know literally nothing about them.
I do feel sorry for them because you've got Portugal, Germany, and France all in that group, and then you've got little Hungary at the bottom, and no one really cares, do they?
That's not answering the question. What do you know about Hungary, baby?
I don't. Honestly, I'll be that guy. I don't know anything about them, honestly.
I bet that's all four of us, then, isn't it? We absolutely know the spot about Hungary.
Thanks,
I think we're all just
for picking me out.
We're just expecting them to be pointless, just making up the numbers.
Yeah.
That spray, I tell you,
I'm so warm. I'm so boiling. It's ridiculous.
That's quite cool, yeah.
I tell you what, I'll get your temperature
cool
even more though. The game tonight, Germany, France. Now
it's going to be
that for me is the biggest game of the tournament so far.
It's like a semi-final in the group stage. It's great. Honestly, it's great.
For me, it's which Germany turns up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm looking at their squad now. Let's have a
they brought back Müller, as I said, and they brought back Hummels as well. They booted them out to try and bring some more talent through, but obviously it's not. Mr. Lowe's brought them back.
Everybody's forgetting though that Germany possess, don't they, the actual rifle, the most dynamic striker in world football today, Timo Werner.
I was just about to go. Where's he going with this?
Yeah.
I was about to say Cruz retired a few years ago.
It depends what he does. I mean, if he plays Havertz in the 10 role, which Havertz is just coming to his own. I think the last couple of matches for Chelsea is very, very good in the 10 role. You play perhaps Muller up top, but you've still got you've got Kimmich. I'm a big fan of Kimmich, lads. You've got Toni Kroos in there. He's still playing relatively well for Madrid. You got Hummels in there. You got Koch, Robin Koch, who's decent. Rudiger, I would say, the best defender the last 2-3 months of the season. When he got brought back into the Chelsea side, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Instrumental in turning them around.
You ask any Chelsea fan, they say Rudiger's been their best centre back.
But by far, I can't believe Lampard let him out. You've got, as I said, we talked about Kimmich, so it will be quite interesting if Sane and Serge Gnabry has had a solid season as well. If Sane can replicate his Manchester City form, I'm not talking about his Bayern form, but his Manchester City form, they've got a good, solid starting 11 there, I guess. And of course, they'll have Neuer, presumably playing goal.
They've got seasoned veterans, haven't they? It's like seasoned veterans with like a young group of hungry, talented footballers. So it's the perfect kind of mix, really. And you always back Germany, don't you, to get to a set of a major tournament? You always back them to get to a semi-final, no matter how bad or whatever players or injuries. You can always back them to get into a semi-final. That's the thing with Germany; they're just consistent, aren't they?
Yeah. So very much so. Then they've got know-how, haven't they?
The thing is with that group, right? So obviously you've got the third place who can get through as well.
Yeah.
And I can't see. I think this will be one of the groups where they do actually get through the third place, because if you think about it, every single team will easily beat Hungary, I think, and then everyone else draws with each other. I think whoever finishes top of that group is whoever batters Hungary the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
4 points will easily be enough to get through to from third, I think, and so it really will come down to that Hungary game. I think everyone will, all three of those teams will be like, right, let's go absolutely destroy them, because this third place thing, obviously, when we brought it in, people were a little bit worried that it was gonna, people were going to start settling for draws because they just needed a few points and stuff. But I've literally got this Germany team up, and I don't understand this whole thing of writing Germany off.
I know.
Like Reece just put a comment then, Hummels and Muller, Gundogan, you got Goretzka, Muller, Toni Kroos, Havertz, who's had a good end to the season, and then their attack. Werner probably off the ball. Werner's very good, but his technique and his on the ball finishing is really poor. I bet Liverpool were really laughing their asses off when they realised that they didn't actually sign him. But I think that's always been a little bit of a weakness for Germany over the past few years. Ever since Klose retired, they've not really had that striker. They've kind of had to play the false nine in Thomas Muller. And I think Timo Werner was looked at that as the next striker for them. And again, without being mean, he's shite. So That's probably their weakest area, but I have no qualms for Germany in the rest of their squad at all.
Do you know much about Volland? Anyone know much about the Monaco striker Volland?
I know a little bit about him based on Football Manager. That's literally it. And a few years ago he was on Football Manager and he ended up being the best player in the world. I think a few years ago he was touted as a real talent.
Yeah.
So he's I don't know how good he is now though. I hope this tournament could be a little bit of the making of him. Possibly. It depends who they play up there.
They're on first, aren't they? Germany, Holland. Is it Germany? Sorry,
no, Germany,
Portugal,
France.
Hungary.
Germany, France is later, isn't it? It's at 8.
Germany, France. Blockbuster 8 p.m. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got to work out. Do I go to the gym for the Portugal Hungary game, or do I go to the gym for the tricky one?
Home workout.
You're sorry.
Home workout.
No. I've literally got a gym 10 minutes away from here, so I'm boxing tonight, and I haven't got a box bag in my garage. I need to get one. I need to get a heavy bag from my garage. That's what I need.
So we spoke a bit about Germany, people. I'm going to come to Callum.
Yeah, mate says that on the weekend.
To you, Cal. France. Now we know how chock full of talent they are. Being a United show, I think we're going to start with Mr. Pogba. Is this a game where you can see Paul Pogba dominating? With Kante sitting behind him, letting him do what Pogba does best. Is this a game where he's going to really take it by the scruff of the neck and show everybody what he's all about?
I won't be surprised if Pogba is player of the tournament, to be honest. We know he can do it. He's a world-class centre midfielder. So I really think he could be. He's probably my shout for player of the tournament. I really think he could do it. The worry is what happens after the tournament when he comes back to United, and hope he signs a new contract. Just depends on the transfers that get brought in, I suppose. But yeah, Pogba will light this tournament up, I think. This game against Germany, obviously this group, it probably couldn't have been better for Pogba. It couldn't have been better for a few of these France players to truly show what a good team these are. The thing that made me laugh the other day was Michael Owen. I mean, he must have done hours and hours of research to be able to pick France as the team that he thinks are going to win it. I mean, he's just, wow. He tweeted, didn't he, saying after looking at all the stats that have been sent to me, like he had a personal assistant telling him all the stats. Yeah. My pick is France and Portugal. So he's picked the first favourite and the second
favourite.
I mean, God, and do you know what? I think England are the third favourite, and he picks England as well. So he really knows what he's talking about, that lad, doesn't he? Freaking clown. Yeah, Pogba will smash this tournament, I think. I think Mbappe will be amazing as well. And to be honest, I can't look past France to win it. I think it'd be unlikely to see anybody else. But I think that's just my opinion. I think Stu, you're of the same ilk, aren't you? I think a lot of people can't see past France.
I think you're right.
I don't want France to win it. I think I hate always picking the favourites, so I always try to pick someone else. And I think Portugal will be my prediction. Just because I hate picking favourites to win tournaments. I always go for the second favourites instead. But yeah, France will smash this tournament. I don't think that group should hinder them. I think France will win that group, and then whoever comes third, we'll be looking at, because I think whoever comes third, possibly. So I think if we win the group, if England win the group, we play second in that group.
Yeah,
and then if we then win that game, we then play third in that group.
Something like that, yeah.
So our last 16 and quarter-final could be either France, Germany, or Portugal.
Yeah.
If you want to win these tournaments to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Beat them as well.
Yeah. We really are going to have to beat the best if we want to win it in the first two knockout rounds. So let's see what these teams are made of, I guess. But it's a very exciting game, considering we're effectively getting a final in a group stage. So it could be good.
I think that was the major contrast as well from the World Cup, because we had Belgium in that group, and I think a lot of England fans, well, me included, were saying, finish second in that group, we come up against Colombia, we can beat Colombia. You beat Colombia, you get to Sweden, Then you beat Sweden, you get to Croatia, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, this is the perfect round for the final, perfect road to the final. And then you're looking on the other side of the bracket, and you had Belgium, France, Germany, Spain. I don't think got through to the knockouts, did they? So you had all the top teams in one side of the bracket. Then you had England. So, but with the Euros, I'd much see it the other way around, where we'll get a big team in the first sort of round of the knockout stages, which and if we beat them, it's a good way of just settling down and going, right, we've beaten one of the best teams here, so let's go out and get into this final and hopefully go and win it. But let's see how it goes. Yeah, but you're right, Callum. I think it's the runner-up of that group we play. So it could be either France or Portugal for me. I mean, we'll be knocking out a favourite.
We're saying this as if we are going to win the group. Look, we might not win the group.
Scotland will end up beating us on Friday, wouldn't they?
It's weird, isn't it, because of the way the draws lied. I think if we were to come second, I think we'd get second. If we were to come second, we'd get first out of Spain's group. And after watching Spain yesterday, I mean, God, it was just all the passing and no idea. It was woeful. It was woeful. It really was. I mean, they made nearly 500 passes in the first half. I thought Sweden were more likely to win that game.
We should have scored. Johnny Berg should have netted. Should have buried it.
Yeah, it really should. So I think if we was to come second, I think it'd probably be a slightly easier route to the final. But we can't keep doing this. We need to. If we want to win these tournaments, we've got to show that we can be up there with the big boys instead of looking for the easy route all the time. So I'm not particularly worried. If we get knocked out by the bigger teams, it's just typical England again. If we don't, then it looks like we've turned the corner.
Yeah, standard. One thing I'd say about Pogba, though, Benny, just briefly, because I would imagine you've got to wrap up in a minute. But just briefly, is that Kante allows Pogba to do what Pogba does best, and that is roam the pitch. And that's always been our biggest issue at United. And we've always said this on most shows. We always talk about the need for a player like Kante. Yeah. But France have that spine. It's the best spine in Europe currently right now. With the two centre halves, Varane and Mbappe, and then you've got Lloris. Obviously, you've got Kante, Pogba. I think Reece mentioned that Talisio is probably their weak link out their starting 11. But when you're talking about one player in a world class team, and I don't use the phrase world class, as you well know, because I don't agree with it. But you're talking about as a team element, you can almost say that. And then, of course, you've got Mbappe, Benzema, and who else is up front? How can I remember the top three? Griezmann. Yeah. Who are going to be dangerous. So, but Kante's the linchpin. It's one player is always a linchpin in any team, and it's Kante in the French team. And
he sets up really well, though, doesn't he? Yeah, he does it for Chelsea all the time. But he's like three players, but in one. He's the perfect kind of pivot. I mean, you can literally put any centre midfielder with Kante, and that other centre midfielder will just have a worldie, only because Kante is just there, mopping everything up, cleaning it up, dictating the play. It's
we gave Chelsea £40 million for Matic, so they could go spend £30 million on Kante. That doesn't say everything about Manchester United's fucking football hierarchy, and I don't know what will.
Typical Mourinho, though, wasn't it? Mourinho, because he wants him at Roma now, doesn't he? So
I'll take him.
Sod's law, boys. Sod's law. Right, before I wrap up, I'm going to get some score predictions from you. And the first goal scorers of both games. I'll start with Bainesy.
Okay. Portugal, I'm going to go with a steady 2-0. I'm going to go with Diogo Jota and Ronaldo to score. Sure. And then France and Germany, I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. And I'm going to go Mbappe and Toni Kroos. I've just picked a player out there. There's nothing more to it.
That's cool, mate. Callum?
I'm going to go 4-0 Portugal. Ooh. And Ronaldo to score first. And I'm going to go 2-1 France. Griezmann to score first.
Sweet. Stuart? Oh, Stu, sorry. Do apologise.
That's all right. I'm going... I'll go in the middle, actually. I'll go 3-0 Portugal. But I'm going to go Andre Silva to score first. I'm going to go 2-1 to France. But I'm going to go with Kai Havertz to score first for Germany. I think Germany will take the lead.
That's a good shout, actually.
Reece has got Portugal at a 5-0.
5-0.
I think Reece wants to see some goals after that Scotland performance.
Yeah.
The 2-2 draw.
I was going for Kimmich. Interesting.
Kimmich, yeah, really interesting, that one.
Interesting.
Good shout though, Reece. Good shout.
Yeah, good shout, yeah.
Anyway, before I wrap it up, I did say at the start of the show that we are doing a Euro Mystery box competition from the Mystery Shirt Club. And to be in with a chance of winning, all you have to do is scroll to the bottom, to the comments at the bottom of this video, not the live comments, the comments at the bottom of the video, and just basically type in your answer of who will win the Euros. And if anyone says Scotland at 200-1 to make me feel a little bit better, I'll be grateful.
Yeah, go on.
So, because these lot have been taking the absolute piss out of me out backstage saying about my dodgy bet at Scotland at 200-1.
Well, rightly so.
Fiver beer money.
I put Turkey down and they just got absolutely mullered by Italy 3-0. So.
Oh, well, I put Turkey as my one to watch. Actually, my dark horse.
They were awful.
I mean, they just didn't turn up though, Basie, to be fair.
I really do hope that tomorrow they turn. Is it tomorrow they play again?
I think so, yeah.
I just hope they turn up and just a 1-0 will do, because I've got them tipped to get into the knockouts. They're to the latter stages of the tournament. I hope they really do.
I think Czech Republic could be a bit of a dark horse. I don't think Croatia will qualify. I think Czech Republic will. Yeah,
well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Didn't look too bad, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. I mean, Croatia were poor. And to be honest, people were raving about Italy, but I didn't really see anything special from the Italians.
I just think Turkey were really bad, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, played right into their hands.
Yeah, I don't think Italy were much shakes. I know they haven't lost now. Is it 28 games, isn't it, or something? I think that was 28, 29 games. But I didn't see any great shakes from Italy. We'll see if Verratti comes back in, see what happens when he comes back in, because he's still got a knock. But I'm rooting for you, Benny, in Scotland, mate. And you're 200-1 bet. That's all I'm rooting for.
Oh, cheers, pal. Anyway, I better wrap this up before the big boy Ben, before the master of this channel, screws my head off for going over 45 minutes and doing well over an hour. But it's been an enjoyable show. I'd like to thank Stuart, or Stu. I keep saying Stuart, but sorry, pal. I do apologise. He knows I love him. Bainesy, thank you for coming on today, pal.
No worries,
really appreciate it. Callum, as always, mate. It's been a pleasure. And until next time,
cheers, boys.
We'll see you in a bit.
Cheers.